Oh, strong girl.
Hey Gooby! You're now listening to Buddy Time. On today's episode, we're hitting the runway of style and flexing those muscles with our guest speaker, Radhika Mettakhun. Ready to turbocharge your day with us? Let's begin our voyage! Hey everyone! Today we have a really special guest with us. This speaker is really special to me because we've been friends for just a little over 10 years now. And I'm really happy that she's here with us to be able to share with us all about her growth and her mindset and everything amazing about her. I'm sure that once you listen to this episode, you'll also feel all the positive energies from this lovely lady. Radhika, hello and welcome to our podcast.
Hi, it's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you, Radhika, for being here. Could you introduce a little bit about yourself so that our listeners get to know a little bit more about you?
Well, because you don't see my face, so I'm Thai Indian, meaning I'm completely Indian, but I was born and raised in Thailand. Funny enough, there's a lot of us, but still we're considered as a minority. Currently, I'm working for my family, so let's just say that I own a business as well because I'm a part of the family. Growing up here, I was in a Thai school and then I switched to an international school because that's how my brothers did it as well. And after international school, it's kind of like automatic for us to go abroad for college. For me, I decided to go to Canada pursuing nutrition and food science. And being there for like 2.5 years, I switched my role, I guess my industry in studying completely to fashion. And so I was kind of like exploring fashion for a little bit while I was in food science. And then I switched to San Francisco. I was there for 5 years. And then I got a job interning in San Francisco for a little bit. They moved me to New York. I was in New York for like a year and a little bit. And now I'm back here for good and joining my family business. I guess I'm talking about my career now.
If you're worried that listeners don't know what you look like, they'll definitely be able to see your beautiful face on our podcast cover for this special episode. So don't worry, listeners. You'll definitely get to see her beautiful face. And yes, speaking of like fashion and all these things, thinking back, it surprised me again hearing you say this because I keep remembering that I've only known you for 1 year before you left to San Francisco. We've met each other in our bachelor years in the first year of university for myself. And I met Radhika then, and immediately it was like a really positive connection.
A
spark. You could say that it's a spark. And I really resonated with who she was. Up until now, really, it's been like I said, like 10 years. And I'm just curious to your own journeys in terms of when I met you, you were studying food and nutrition. And I know that that's such a big part of who you are and what you do. And for you to decide to change your degree halfway through undergraduate into fashion, I know that partially it is because of what you've said, like your family business and all these things. But I was wondering in terms of this big decision in your life, how did you get there and why did you decide to switch into fashion instead of food and nutrition, even though food and nutrition is also such a big part of who you are?
Let's just start with at that time when I moved to Vancouver, I did not know who I was. I knew that I really liked food and nutrition, and this would be kind of very, base level. I loved biology at that time and I felt like I was good at it. And so parents told me to do fashion. As a young kid, you do the opposite and do something that you thought was better for you. And luckily, I'm blessed with the family that allows me to explore whatever that I want to do, meaning I decided to go to Vancouver with my best friend and pursue food and nutrition, realizing that I did not enjoy it very much, but I enjoyed UBC. I enjoyed the school very much and enjoyed the people that I was with. And they became friends until now, obviously. But I guess growing up, I put all the passions that I have into a career. And that's something I realized that passion can stay passion and passion can fuel career. Like, not all passions give you money.
So what I'm hearing just from what you've briefly shared about your journey, you first chose to pursue in food science was probably because your younger self thought that you really enjoy this knowledge, this food science nutrition, right? And that's why you wanted to pursue, wanted to learn more about this. And also, I would call it a little rebellious, as all teenager would have that. I just want to explore my life first, enjoy my own life, and make my own decision first. I want to be able to feel that I have the freedom and that I have the decision making to sort of like choose what I would like to go for, in a way that you later realize that, oh, I actually did not really enjoy food science, right? So to me, actually, this part really is a good example that our platform has always been promoting as well, which is it's okay if we're not sure what we are into right now, or even if we are sure about what we want to do right now at this moment, just go for it, try it. And only if we get to try something, then we'll realize that, oh, I actually don't enjoy that much, right? Yeah, so I think how you started could probably resonate with a lot of people, because I believe you might have been there too, and I definitely have been through that too. Like, and a lot of times we might feel like, oh, we don't want to listen to our parents because they don't know us. Like, we're the new gen.
Yeah, you're right. You put it in a very nice way. It's funny that we also didn't know ourselves at that time enough to make a decision, and that they know better because obviously they have experienced a lot more life than us. But you're right.
So what's your journey like right now in terms of after studying fashion? How did you find fashion school? And you went to New York and did all the fashion stuff. I'm not sure in detail. Maybe you'd like to share with us what the details are and where you are now in terms of like the career, in terms of working with your family in this fashion business. How was the journey? How did you find yourself?
I guess I could start it with switching or changing is actually not a big deal. And that it doesn't change your whole life by switching from one thing to another. Just like how I switched from food science to fashion, it was not a big journey for me. It was a switch. And like I realized it, let's be open to it, switch it, change it, and see how you go, because you can always evolve after that, right? Luckily, I was really good in school in fashion. And so it became natural. And I realized now, like, oh shit, I'm actually good at this. But I wouldn't know if I'm good at it if I didn't try food science. And so there was zero regrets for me there. Fashion school was tough. I was in fashion design. So you work a lot. You have to be on top. And you work with a lot of pressure and time crunch. So funny because it's quantity over quality when I was in fashion. You produce as much as you can and you have your teacher choose the best design for you, and you tweak it, you manipulate it, and you change it, and you perfect it. I think fashion design is all about, okay, like your artistic self. Art is art. There's no right or wrong, but there is right or wrong in fashion. And you design things that works and that can be sold. At least that's my perspective in fashion. Do I love fashion design the most? No, but I think it has shaped me into a person that I am now, to be disciplined the way I am, to work with time and pressure really well. And so I guess that has taught me to get the job, to be able to move to New York, and then to be who I am now, working with family, where there's a lot more pressure because family has built a very, let's say, a stable and successful business for a long time. How do you make it better? How do you fit yourself in an establishment that has been there for so long that it will become yours, Working in New York in a small business, I was a fashion designer assisting the owner and managing the store, the pop-up store, designing the interior and the exterior of the store, and actually become a sales as well. And so being the sales of the store that you design has like similarity to what I'm doing now as well, because I'm in marketing and sales for my family business. And so without being the sales, of the brand that I worked with in New York, probably I wouldn't be able to start off being a sales here now or have the confidence to do it, because it's how do you sell your product in a way that other people can buy from, and then being successful in that fuels you to be better at it. So coming in, working for family, I really didn't want to do it at that time. I remember my dad visiting my store in New York. I was working on that day, and they bought like a couple stuff. I designed the cashmeres, and my dad said, like, you're done. You're done with this. Like, you're coming back with me. In my head, I was like, how dare you? How dare you say that to me? You don't even know how hard I work here. But then again, he sent me money, right, to pay for a freaking expensive place in New York for me to be safe, for me to have the opportunity here. Without him, I wouldn't be here. So it's finally the time for me to listen to him and have a chance and give myself a chance at what he says. He knows me better because he's been right all along my entire life.
Your story is getting more interesting to me personally, because I'm also trying to reflect on, at least this is a topic that I feel like I myself would be very interested to hear from you, because there is definitely a very strong tie between you and your family. And I believe that we all know that we're able to be who we are, to do what we love, first because we have a really supportive family. But as teenagers, we just tend to always do the opposite first, and thinking that we're right all the time. When you switch from food science to fashion, it wasn't a big deal for you back then. I'm also wondering, do you think that is because growing up, your family, your dad, your parents have always been influencing you with this kind of fashion knowledge or fashion business? Because your family business is about fabrics, right? And in my understanding, fabric, textile is very related to the fashion industry. So were you influenced by your parents' business growing up, or you were never part of the business talk when you were young?
Well, they try to expose me in textiles and what they do, but at the same time, they never pressure us to join the family business. And so they put us in everything, in all types of activities for us to explore as much as we can, because they know that like once they put us in everything, we're able to figure it out ourselves. And I guess that's one of the reasons why fashion or textiles was a natural for me, because I've been given that information naturally growing up without realizing that, oh, that's a strong part that when I went to fashion school, nobody has. And so it put me above a lot of people without me realizing. And that, I think, was like a strength over other people as well. So
what your dad said to you when he went to your store, to me, I find that very touching, to be honest. Because I am a third person hearing this for the first time, how I hear it and interpret it right away is, I think your dad was really proud of you. And the way he said it, how I felt those words is, I think you're ready to come back to help the family because I see your potential and your ability here. So come back and, to me, that's really touching. Yeah.
I never thought of it that way.
I want to also jump in a little bit. I feel like, Sin, you're so, I love and you continuously inspire me in thinking positively about situations, because before coming back to Thailand and the decision of coming back to Thailand, I was also pursuing a film and theater career in Vancouver. And I was having a jolly good time doing all the things that I was doing. But of course, it's not hard. Like the career path and the way we need to build ourselves and the things that we have to go through in Western country is so much different from what we go through in Asian countries, because of the way the society is and the way that our families are as well. There's family support here in Asia, whereas when we're in the Western countries, we're on our own. So we do everything ourselves. And I was having I would say like I was having like one of the most challenging times of my life trying to earn a living when I was there. But at the same time, I also really enjoyed what I was doing. And to the relation part, to what Radhika has brought up, I also was called back by my family. It was one day they called me and then they also said, hey, Sony, it's time to come back maybe and explore your realms here. But I wanted to sort of bring us back to the topic of your career path into fashion. Despite being something that is sort of expected from the family, because what Sin highlighted was that your family business is of fabric, I want to ask you, is fashion to you something that you're passionate about, or is this just a career path for you?
Fashion, it's huge, right? It's a huge topic. It can go anywhere. But for me, am I passionate about fashion? Honestly, no. Because, I mean, if I'm passionate about fashion and it becomes my career, I wouldn't be doing textiles, because textiles technically is not really fashion. Like, you're supplying fabrics to fashion houses, to retailers, and these people that produces fashion. And in Thailand, the fashion community is not the biggest. And so if I'm really passionate about fashion, I wouldn't be here. But I think being in fashion in my term has given me more light into doing what I do as well. I guess I'm living for those people that produces fashion in Thailand and hoping that it goes bigger, hoping that I've gained enough experiences from their experiences to make my own in the future. Obviously, I want a ready-to-wear for myself. Not sure in which realm, but that, I guess, is me being in fashion. And especially, okay, going back to family business, because the foundation is there, it's much easier to build from the foundation and from the ground up. And so I see a lot of potential that I can make from a family business into something of my own. But is it my passion? No. Is it something that I'm good at? Yes. But I think career, sometimes you choose something that you're good at rather than it's your true core passion. Because your true core passion could be your hobby. And that gives you the energy and the motivation to have a stable career as well.
I'm wondering what in fashion then is your favorite thing about it? Because we've highlighted a lot of like hardships that comes with fashion, not to mix it up with passion because it sounds so similar. What are the things that you enjoy about fashion, even if it's not your passion?
Things I enjoy about fashion is seeing what I produce and what the company produces in other people's brand. And seeing that comes to life, and before that coming to life, how much convincing and how much work I had to do for that to be in the collection or that to be a part of something bigger. I think that is what I like about fashion in my industry. Like, I also wonder what you guys see in fashion. Like, how do you define fashion in your term? Because it's such a big word, and I definitely have a different definition.
Such a great question. Sin, do you want to answer this first while I think about the answer?
Well, thank you, Sony. Yeah, first of all, to all the listeners out there, if you know me in real life, I'm a person who I consider myself have no sense of fashion, because my definition of fashion is knowing how to dress the outfit in a way that make you look colorful. What I mean by colorful is not just about...
It's your character.
Yeah, the character. Sometimes I think having the ability to put on an outfit for yourself in a way that it could either make you seem like you have a different personality or different characteristic. This is the ability of fashion to me.
That's fashion. That's still fashion. Now I wonder, what is the personality you want other people to see?
I would consider myself more of a casual, minimalistic person. Yeah, so I normally only enjoy buying very common, typical daily wear to make myself really comfortable. But sometimes when I look at, like, for example, you, Sony, our other friends who dress differently, it makes me feel, wow, you guys are so fresh, and you know you're able to carry different style. So at least to me, I would consider these are different fashion. But sometimes, like for me, personality character definitely links to fashion in my definition. But when I look at those, big designers, their fashion show, those designs are very unique and extravagant. Sometimes I, as a person who consider myself who don't know fashion, I would be curious, oh, why does this outfit look so interesting? We're not even able to wear that in everyday life. So is that just an art? Is fashion just an art piece? Or should fashion be more like daily wear, like just making us feel comfortable? So
what you said makes so much sense. And I think that is also fashion. That's your view of fashion, and that's a lot of other people's view of fashion as well. And what you see in runways are brands like luxury, high-end, like one of the biggest ones. They show their character or an image of the brand through that, not exactly the piece that people will be wearing, right? But also nowadays, they try to apply more of like the daily wear in their fashion so that it's more related to people who aren't exactly into that. So I think what you said, you just defined fashion.
After having a little bit of a think, fashion to me is basically a representation of yourself, of your mind and yourself through physical objects. That's how I view fashion. So fashion can really be anything, just like you said, Sin. Like it can be a form of art, and this art is the representation of who you are. So if you say that you're a person who likes to dress more casually and more freely, maybe that's really because you are a very free-spirited person. So you represent yourself through that way. So other people might not wear the same things because they themselves, in the inside world, they view themselves differently. So how we manifest what we wear on a daily basis is the fashion that we gravitate towards. It's almost like a representation of our mind, but put into a form where others can see. And that is, I feel like, also why, to me, people feel more themselves when they wear something that they're very comfortable with. I'd say this all the time. I'm not a person who's really into formal wear. Like, I look good in formal wear. But I am not a person that would wear like suits all the time. I don't like that because I feel like sometimes the suit for me is a representation when I need to look like I need to do something important. I mean, I do things, but you know what I mean. Yeah, thank you. But when on a daily basis, I would not choose to wear like suit and tie and things like this because it's not an accurate representation of myself that I think of. So to me, using this concept in my mind, and we're talking about like high fashion, for example, I feel like high fashion these days, it's a form of art, definitely. And the artists, to me, create these sort of fashion. I feel like it is, all of them are actually wearable, but it's the way that we feel like it's not wearable is because it's not what we would wear. But then when we see certain pieces of the art that you would wear, you gravitate towards it and you're like, oh, I would wear that. That's very nice. And that's also why when we go buy clothes, when we go buy things, we're like, oh, I really like this bag. Oh, I really like this clothes. To me, that's what fashion is. I feel like fashion is just a representation of us, of who we are, and anything can be fashion in terms of what we wear.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. And also, hence why there's so many brands out there, because it caters different personality and different styles. And some people can't wear one brand, but they look really good in another brand. Not exactly how, like, they look good because they feel good in them, rather than what other people see. And it's not, like sometimes when you go to a store and you wear something and it's like, it's not really you, but it's cute. It's not really you as a personality, but it is cute on you because you're a body, Yeah, that's interesting.
So besides fashion, let's talk a little bit more about your passion.
Okay. Passion, I can talk about it forever.
Yes. So what is your passion?
Passion, I like a lot of things. I love doing a lot of things. But one passion is definitely health and fitness. Different people take it in a different way, right? Some people are more specific. Like, let's say that counting calories and being very specific with what you eat. But for me, it's more like enjoying the process and challenging yourself in a way that isn't really normally what other people do. Right now, preparing for a competition. It's an NPC, the bikini bodybuilding competition. That's just like one way of me challenging my health and fitness into another stage where I'm not sure how it's going to go. I'm not sure if I'm going to pursue this for a longer run, or this would be just like a one-time thing. That's the thing, right? When it comes to passion or it's your hobby, you can start and you can stop anytime, and you can change and you can switch around. With career, it's not the easiest. And so it's nice that the things that you really like and love becomes your passion, because there's not so much pressure. Although I'm putting a lot of pressure in what I'm doing and as a passion right now. But I think it's nice to challenge yourself and to see how far you can go.
With your interests in bodybuilding, it's so rare to hear about this, especially growing up in Thailand as well. Not a lot of people would be talking about bodybuilding, especially women bodybuilders.
Especially in a Thai culture.
Exactly. I believe that you could be so inspirational to so many of our listeners who could be curious about this path. I'm wondering, is there a connection between, you in the beginning being good at biology, going into food nutrition, and now with your interest in bodybuilding, is it related at all?
Oh, completely related. Now I know that my interest in food and science and health could remain a passion. And so that what I'm doing now stemmed from my initiated passion. Continuing that and doing fashion, like you can do two things at the same time, and those two things doesn't have to be at the same level. And I think it is truly blessing that I've able to realize that now, that how to balance that between your passion and your career. I guess for some people, they can be happy with just doing their career and getting the money and enjoying their life. Some people want to do multiple things at the same time. But how many things can you do to excel in many, So I guess let's see how my bodybuilding goes and if I'm able to excel it, or to start another topic where I have wanted the health and food and nutrition to be my career as a personal trainer before. I remember telling my dad that if you want me to come back here, that's one of the first things I said when I agreed. I think I remember taking some days off thinking about what I want to do in life if I was to switch from being in fashion in New York and come back here in Thailand and join the family business. I told my dad that you have to promise me that I'm able to get a personal training certification and do that as my hobby. And look, now I'm still not a personal trainer, and I'm doing a completely different thing where I require a coach to do this.
To my belief, health and nutrition can go in so many ways, right? Like people can become someone who's a nutritionist, work in a lab, but how did you end up choosing bodybuilding as the outlet for you that you gravitate towards?
I guess first outlet for me was lifting, using my energy through that. And you have seen my process since Vancouver. I think the very beginning, okay, you go to college, you gain so much weight, you try to lose weight, you kind of stopped eating for a while, and that didn't work out. Okay, let's work out because that's what everybody says to do to lose weight. And so I fell in love with it. I was able to have a community that supports working out, and going to the gym is a community, and you uplift each other and you support, and it's just it feels really nice to be in a community with the same passion.
The beginning of my intensive workout routines was also influenced really much by Radhika. In my first year of university, we would wake up 5 a.m. or something like this. And then we would be let's go run the tracks. And then we have class at 8 or something. And then we would be run.
I remember.
Yeah. And then also, I joined the gym with Radhika, and I remember us going to lifting classes together. And then she would always encourage me to lift more and go for more, and you can do this, Sony. So Radhika really does have this really uplifting and also very positive, very encouraging way of doing things. And I feel really inspired by a lot of the things that she's taught me to do in my life as well.
Can I ask, since both of you are friends for so long, and you've seen each other's journey, so I'm wondering, what I'm hearing from Sony is that definitely I felt that too from Radhika, a very outgoing, encouraging, energetic person. I'm wondering, were you always like this before you started your journey in working out? In the gym community, people are very supportive, like you said. Is this an influence from you joining the community, or you have always been like this? That's why it makes you be part of that community even easier.
I think I was supportive, encouraging to other people that joins the gym because I know it's beneficial for them and that I've always wanted that and I never really got that. I mean, with my family, yes, they are the most supportive. And growing up, I've been like in ballet for years or in a lot of extracurricular where it requires supports and encouragement. And I think it doesn't hurt to encourage people to keep doing it, And I treat people the way I want to be treated. And so encouragement is what I need as well. And I think it's what everybody needs secretly if they don't say it out loud. And being encouraging is the only way to go. Why would you do anything else otherwise?
Thinking of it more now of the things Radhika influenced me. Today, I know how to do proper squats and all these like push-ups, like chin-ups, whatever, all these things. When you go to the gym and do a particular like routine, there are also ways to do it properly and not damaging yourself. And a lot of it today that I can do is also because of Radhika. But no, I'm not just here to like compliment her. I should move on from the compliments and ask you, Radhika, like, do you have any tips for people who would be interested in, if they are interested in going into like bodybuilding or just health and wellness and all these things? What are some of your tips that you would say that you use yourself and that you would recommend to others?
I think confidence is the first thing. Confidence doesn't come if you don't believe in yourself. But I think saying that is such a cliche. Like, how do you believe in yourself? I always say, and I say that to my brother all the time, fake it till you make it. I'm sure you've heard this so many times as well. If you want to be someone, be that person, even though you don't believe in it, because you will end up believing that you are that person anyways. Because who are you anyways? You want to be the person that you want to be. So find that out and be that. In terms of starting being healthy, there's two ways: doing it moderately or doing it in an extreme way. I think I started extreme. And when you started extreme, for me, it's easier to go from extreme and then find your moderation. I started off with like cutting, okay, I want to be healthy. All right, tomorrow I'm starting cutting everything unhealthy. And then once you know how your body works, slowly taking the things that you like back into your life. Like, let's say chocolate. Okay, you stop with chocolate completely. And then slowly, once you feel like, all right, I understand now why not eating these desserts makes me feel. When I need it, I can take a little bit of it because I know it feels so much better without it. And how my body looks so much better and feels so much better without it. And so you're only taking a little bit of it rather than, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of it every day or at a certain period of time because doing it in moderation, right? But your moderation is not the same as other people's moderation. So find that out for you by cutting it out first and then putting it back in and then later. There's many ways to be healthy, but I think being healthy comes mentally as well. You have to be mentally strong to understand what you need for yourself. And so I think take care of your body, understanding your value, seeing what your perspective in being healthy is, and then do it your way. Don't follow other people. Finding facts that works for you. Maybe start with that. Because relying on a personal trainer without understanding what you need for your body, when you stop having a personal trainer, you probably wouldn't go back to working out anyways.
Since you've mentioned about being mentally strong as well, I'm sure that, in the field, like I lift when I lift weight just a little bit, I already feel the pain in my muscles. But for you to actually train so that you can build the right sculpture out of your body that you are going for, I can only imagine how hard that would be and how mentally challenging that would be. So how do you overcome your own mental challenges in this case?
When you have the goal you want to go, there's no challenges mentally in between, I think. You do it because that's the goal. Like your goal is so clear, you will do whatever it takes for you to get to that goal, maybe in the healthiest way you can. You just show up. You just put yourself there. And once you're there, you have to do it. And then, okay, you don't feel like going to the gym today, you go anyways, because once you're there, people around you are working out. You're going to have to work out. Although it might not be the best workout of your life, you will give yourself a pat on the back and say, oh, I showed up today. I can. So you'll do better the next day. And then you'll do better the next day because you see progress. I think seeing progress on your own body is so rewarding that it keeps you going. And so if you can change your body to the way you want, that motivation can also stem into your career as well. That like, hey, you're doing this thing and you're being very consistent with it. It shows on your body. If you're consistent with your career and what you want, it will show as well. It may take longer because it's harder than like you can manipulate your own body. But as career or as a job, it requires a lot more effort and sources.
I really agree with what you share because about the environment. I remember hearing from another podcast sharing that the environment that we're in, whether we like it or not, it really, really influenced us. At least it influenced us in that moment. So your recommendation of just go there even though you don't feel like working out, just go to a gym. Once we are in that environment, naturally, the energy that we felt in the gym, it will already motivate us to, okay, let me just do it. Okay, yeah. Or even if we have the mindset to, okay, I will go to the gym today. Once we're in the gym, we see how hard, if I go to the gym and Radhika is next to me, I see how hard and how passionate she is with lifting. I'll be like, hey, I'm going to do better than Radhika. Yeah, I will motivate myself. And comparing to, I'm not saying that working out at home doesn't work. Definitely it works. But in my opinion, having the environment, having the people next to you doing exactly the same thing would probably give you more energy to do better. I'm not sure if you felt the same way too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but at least
I prefer working out at the gym.
Yeah. So to me, environment really affects. So if we want to try to achieve anything, maybe find that right environment to help us motivate more to get to our goal. Yeah, that's what I think.
To me, I feel like after hearing like the conversations that we've had today, what I've also gotten from this is that a lot of this is all about the balance, because we did talk about how fashion may not directly be what Radhika really resonates with in terms of her passion, but she was able to find the balance in her life to pursue also on the side a side quest of bodybuilding and nutrition and all these things that she's really into. A lot of this has brought to light of the ideas that balance is a really important thing, especially for a lot of us out there, me included. I feel like working in a business realm may not always be something that I am completely passionate about. There are things in life that we have to sometimes do in order to get to the goal, like what Radhika said, that we want. And I consider myself, I feel like I say this in most of the episodes, that I consider myself more of an artist than a businessman. But now being a part of Body Up, I have to do a lot of these business thinking and, like marketing that you said that you're now also taking charge of in your family. I'm grateful and I'm privileged to be able to have this opportunity to learn and do all these things, but
develop new skills.
Yes, but the balance that I need to find as well. So in my life, in my own time, I try to find things that spark my joy and the things that within the job itself, even to create in a way that makes me happy in order to keep my sanity. This conversation helped me sort of reflect upon the things that may not be the best of the things in my life, but then viewing it as a way that it is a stepping stone in becoming better, because there is no way. I personally believe that nobody can always do just what they're passionate about. And even if they get to do whatever it is that they're passionate about, there is definitely something in that passion that will be a challenge for them, or something that they might not wholeheartedly feel like they want to do that within their own passion. So thank you for sharing your thoughts and your journey of your life with us today
Oh
in
my God,
the
of course.
in the podcast.
Of course, guys. Like, it's such a pleasure to be here. I have a question, and it's going to last probably another hour, so I'll ask you after.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Radhika, and sharing your wisdom with us. To me, your personality really shows who you are. I think I know why I wanted to connect with you more after the first time that we hang out. It's just because the energy that you give out is exactly who you believe you are. I think this all ties back to the whole community I believe we both talk about. As long as we are with a group of people who are able to support us and help us in our growth journey, we will be able to understand each other and keep encouraging each other. So again, really grateful for you being on Buddy Time and sharing your wisdom, and also potentially helping our listener to inspire them to grow as well, so that we can create a bigger supportive community.
Right. Yeah, let me add, encouragement doesn't mean like positive encouragement always. I think to be truthful with what you that's, you believe in your person, obviously, and there's also some things they've done wrong or things they can do better, and encouragement includes that as well.
So I think that means we have to all be honest and be truthful, and to say the right thing to each other, so that we really grow and not giving fake hopes. Yeah. So
Sending all the positive energy to everyone.
yay!
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in on this episode of Buddy Time. If you've enjoyed your listen, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. We post a new inspirational episode once every other Tuesday. So sit back, relax, and buckle up as we head to our next destination episode. Lightspeed, here we go!